for a team to be too confident? And if so, how is it that you go about monitoring whether this team has the appropriate amount of self-belief?
Just talking to them every day and making sure that they stay hungry. But you know, a lot of coaches have always said if you stop showing up with something to prove, then you halt improvement. And so we have to make sure that we're always coming to practice, always coming to the week with something to prove. And we still have a lot to prove. So I don't think that'll be an issue. We got a lot of things to work on, and we're only halfway through the season. So
front row middle, Joey.
Northwestern's going to wear like all black uniforms, night game. When you guys go on the road and play teams, they're playing at night and it's kind of has more of a Super Bowl like atmosphere. Is that harder to go on the road and play like that versus when it's like a noon game on the road?
No, I mean I feel like when we go and play anywhere, it's kind of that atmosphere anyways. So it's something that we become kind of quite used to.
Right next door, Bill.
You mentioned the grass on the radio show 6 years ago. You weren't there, but it seemed to be like very, very high. How much of a concern is it? They may try to neutralize the speed that way.
I mean, we all have to play with it. So whatever the conditions are, they are, and we worry about what we can control. But certainly can't worry about those kind of things. Both teams have to deal with all the conditions, and we'll handle whatever they are.
Front row right, Austin.
Ron, I wasn't sure if I heard you right earlier this week with the white belt mentality. Then I saw the picture in Woody yesterday. Where did that come from? What does it mean?
It's just something that did some research on that, and heard about it quite a few times in the last few years about just in the martial arts world. The white belt is the first step of the journey to a black belt. That you have to always have that same mentality of looking to prove yourself every day, and you're very impressionable, and you understand that you don't know. And as time goes on, your ego can get in the way, different things can slip, and having that mentality that it's still like the first day of preseason camp and that we have something to prove every day is something that I just wanted to introduce to the team this week so that we keep them locked in.
Back row right, Spencer.
Ryan, what was on your 3 forward list if you had one?
I didn't do one for myself, no. I just did it for the guys. But I certainly have a lot more than 3 things to work on.
Front row right, Tim.
Yeah, a couple of buddies of mine, Devin and Marlo, wanted me to ask you this. So when you go against a team like Michigan State, their defense, and like Brian Hartline touched on this a minute ago, Northwestern's kind of a lot of the same principle stuff, but the main thing is they're going to be sound, et cetera, and physical. How do you get your team ready for that sort of approach of a tough, rough football game up front?
Well, I think that you talk about it and you explain to them what you're up against, but anytime we play in the Big Ten, that's what we expect. I mean, really, most defenses are that way in this conference, and we talk about it from the beginning. We practice that way when we have the scout teams. We talk about this is their style and giving us the great look that this is what we're going to see. And when you watch film, talking to the guys about how hard that block is going to be, how hard that linebacker is going to fill that gap, what a great job we need to do identifying pressure, how much the receivers have to do a good job blocking at the point of attack, and those type of things. You just got to coach up, you got to drill it, and that's what coaching is.
Third row middle, Dave.
Ryan, through your self-scouting, I know you're not getting specific, but did you notice any tendencies about your team that surprised you?
Oh yeah. Anytime you look at your self-scout, you realize that there's certain things that come up that you don't really, you don't notice about just different alignments, different formations, back alignments, just a lot of different things you have tendency-wise, calling on third down or first and second down. And good teams have tendencies. That's another thing, is that you also want to make sure you're doing the things that you do well, but then at the same time not making it easy for guys to target.
Second row middle, Bruce.
You were complimentary Monday of their defense. You say they look familiar to you. They did hold Wisconsin to 1 offensive touchdown. How do they do that?
Well, just like they did last year, that led them to the Big Ten championship game. They're really sound in the run game. Again, similar to Michigan State, they have extra guys in the box constantly. Their guys up front are strong and powerful, and it's very hard if it's a single block, it's hard to hang on for very long with those guys. They really use their hands well. Their linebackers see things. They've been in a defense that's been there for over a decade now, and so defensively they know the answers to all the issues, and they're very, very well coached. They see things very, very fast. They react, and then as you move the ball down the field, they don't give up a ton of big plays. It's harder to score when you get in the red zone against them.
Would that, Jeff Hafley talked the other day about, if you can drive 12, 15 plays on us, congrats. Is that kind of their deal? They rope-a-dope you a little bit defensively. They try not. They be careful not give up big stuff.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean they're not going to certainly give up a lot of big plays a lot, but they make you earn it, and it's not easy to do. And so you have to pick your spots and be smart, but you also have to run the ball, and you can't be over aggressive. You got to understand the plan to win, and but like you said, I mean they held Wisconsin under 300 yards, and I don't think they've given up more than 400 yards all year. And so again, it's very typical of Pat's defenses.
Front row left, Nathan.
You mentioned only worrying about what you can control this week, but it is the only grass situation you guys play on. Do you try to control any equipment variables or anything this week, shoes, things like that? And do you even just talk to the players about the fact that this is a different surface?
Yeah, we try not to overdo it, but we mentioned to them it's natural turf. We practice on the grass, and we'll have the proper footing that Kevin Reese and everybody in the equipment room thinks are best for that surface. Maybe a little bit longer cleat, but other than that, we don't really talk about it much.
And final question, second row left, Bill.
Ryan, as you guys did your mid-season or whatever 6-game evaluations, what was your impression of Tom Master has played through the first 6 games, and is there any sense that you'd like to get him more involved or involved earlier, given how well JK's played?
No, I think that he's had a good first 6 games. He's kind of on the trajectory that we would hope that he would be on midway through the season. And I think, the more he plays, the better he'll get. But as of right now, I think his role is pretty good. And really last week was the first time we had played 60 minutes where we get a feel for how that balance is going to go throughout the game. I think it'll change on a week-to-week basis based on how the game's playing out. But I kind of like the way their roles are right now. But that doesn't mean he's going to get more opportunity in the second half of the season.
Great. Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.